Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. I'm your host, Nate Weitzer. I'm going to be flying solo today because my co host, Josh Lander, had some Thanksgiving travel kerfuffle, a little delay, a little issue getting online today, but he will be back on Friday for another full slate. Of course, we have no games on Thanksgiving. Happy holidays to everybody. But we do have a big slate here on Wednesday. So I got the two best bets, two player props, of course, and then a lean for the early game because we do have a 5 p.m. Eastern game here on the to kick off a huge Wednesday slate. But first pick is the New York Knickerbockers under 240.5 at Charlotte. This has been bet up 8 points, and it might continue to rise, which can give you even more value by the time you do see this video. I think anything 240 or higher, you can feel pretty good about the under. I don't think that these teams are going to be playing very fast. It's really a pace bet here because since LaMelo has started pouting and his request for a trade, I mean, the last five, Charlotte's only at a 96 pace. They're actually at a 96 pace for the season at home versus 100 pace on the road. But in these last five, LaMelo, he's been under 30 minutes pretty consistently since returning, and Charlotte has been under 110 points per game. So it's fallen a lot on Con Knipple. We do know Brandon Miller will be back here, but you got Mikal Bridges for one of those guys. Knipple might have some trouble. I would really love if OJ Anunoby was playing here to really lock in on the Rook, but I think the Knicks still do have some pretty good wing athletes, Josh Hart and Bridges, to slow him down. And that's the pace thing. It brings, segue right back to that because the last three with Brunson back, the Knicks are at a 96 pace as well and scoring 115.7. Brunson, makes them extremely efficient. They score, but they pound the ball, right? And they take their time. And I don't think they want to run up and down with the Hornets. I don't think they want to expend a lot of energy. On the road, the Knicks are much more of a slow it down team. And that's why they average 10 points per game fewer, which is a huge discrepancy so far this season. 114 versus 124 at home. They're absolutely lights out from three at home, 40%. They're just 32% on the road. And that's the biggest weakness of the Charlotte defense is threes. They're like worst in the league on above the break threes and pretty bad in corner threes too, but pretty good protecting the rim with Kalkbrenner in there. So I think they can do a decent job on Towns and Brunson. And I don't know if the Knicks are going to be raining threes down. The last five meetings with Charlotte, for what it's worth, 110 points per game. So yeah, if this looks like it would be a knockdown drag out fight, it's because in the past few, I mean, it's been kind of that low scoring Eastern Conference slugfest, but most importantly, 92 pace in those meetings. And if LaMelo's not out there pushing the pace, like Charlotte is just not going to be that fast a team. That's the crux of the argument here. Wolves are plus 8.5 or plus 9 at OKC. And yeah, that seems scary. But SGA has been downgraded to questionable with an illness. And while OKC should be able to win a game without SGA with their intense defense, I would definitely like to bet the under if you think he's actually not going to play. I don't think they can cover a huge number without him. I mean, they can, of course, but this is more about the Wolves. They are going to be absolutely fired up from this game, looking to avenge really an embarrassing showing in the playoffs against OKC. And they were clearly looking ahead, and that's why they lost in overtime to Sacramento. They've covered this number in 6 straight meetings in the regular season with OKC, winning 2 of the last 3, despite Anthony Edwards not even being like truly elite in those games. I mean, he's averaging 21.7. Jaden McDaniels has taken a big leap forward this year. He's good to go. He's off the injury report, which is fantastic news. If SGA is out there and he's slightly under the weather, maybe Jaden can slow him down a little bit. I mean, he's just truly unstoppable, but Jaden McDaniels is one of the better matchups for SGA, and he's got so much experience now with that playoff series plus the regular season meetings that I think he can do a little bit to limit SGA's free throw barrage. We still, of course, have no J-Dub, no Aaron Wiggins. I mean, OKC is deep and fantastic, but Minnesota's no small shakes, man. They're number 3 in defensive rating in November, number 4 in offense on the season. And so, I mean, they are a top 5 team. This spread is really just the sheer respect people have for OKC at home. And the fact they've only lost once all year and seem to be on a 70-win pace. But Minnesota, when they get up, when they're disrespected, they are 62% as an underdog last year and 59% the last 2 seasons. So I do think this is a spot to back the Wolves. And yeah, I mentioned the 5 p.m. game here. I don't understand this number at all. Like, why is this not at least 4.5, 5.5. Like the Celtics are just going to be completely overmatched from a physicality standpoint from these Pistons who have most of their guys back. Tobias, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren should just have a field day here in the paint. Cade should be getting anywhere he wants. The Celtics are, mediocre to below average team right now, given their situation. So I mean, is just home court advantage on the holiday? Is it just the books saying like Detroit's got to cool off eventually and lose a game? I this is just one of the fishiest lines, and so I have no problem taking the Pistons a small wager here and just paying to find out like what do the books know that would make them small favorites in this again 5 p.m. game. That's why I'm just throwing it out there late because it could be already be up, started by the time you guys see this. Player props, Zion is 22.5 points, and I think you can add the assists here for a little more safety. His assists have not really come to fruition lately. I mean, he's been back for 3 games. It was kind of a warm-up versus Denver, and then the last 2, he's been attacking like crazy. 17 points per game, 18 drives per game. That's top 3 in the NBA. 13.5 free throw attempts in the last 2. Which has led to 25 points a game on 25% usage and an insanely efficient shooting. Only 2 assists per game in those, but he has 8 potential assists in the last 2. And I don't think that Derek Queen handling the ball the way he has is going to totally zap Point Zion's assist rate. I mean, we're still talking about Queen and Jeremiah Fears, 2 very inexperienced guys who did get benched in a recent game for the Pelicans. So it's not like they are the new focal point of this Pelicans offense. Would definitely lean towards the Pelicans getting plus money at home against the Memphis squad that's been good lately. A lot of that has to do with Zach Edey and huge injury news for this bet for the Pelicans is will Zach Edey play? He got hit in the head. He's dealing with a migraine apparently. So I don't know if he's going to be able to go. The last 5 with Edey, Memphis is suddenly down to 3rd in points and free throw attempts allowed, 7th best assists allowed. The previous 10 games you look at, they're bottom 10 points per game, assists per game, 3rd worst defending the rim. So that is absolutely huge for Zion in terms of will he be able to get in there, get to the free throw line, and be able to dish out without Edey. But I mean, even if Edey plays, like I know this about Zion, he likes climbing trees, right? I mean, we saw him go right at Wemby when he got the opportunity. I think he's just kind of bored playing for this Pelicans team. And if he sees a 7-4 guy that he can potentially dunk on, I think he's going to want to attack the rim. And he's got to be fired up for this one. But he's just been playing very well offensively since coming back. And we know going to get the day off after this and get some turkey in as we all are. So last prop is Jordan Goodwin, and honestly, for the quote serious gambler, this is a great look here. There's some arbitrage opportunity. I mean, this is 2 higher than other books. If you can get it at minus 105 on a certain book, that's fantastic. He's also plus 140 to get 2 steals, something he's done in 4 straight. And the playing time is going to be consistent. He's almost certain to start here. Grayson Allen's out, Jalen Green's out. Now Ryan Dunn is out as well. That could project a couple more minutes for Goodwin, who's kind of your versatile wing defender and a really underrated rebounder for a guard. I mean, he's playing for his NBA life, or at least to start. It seems like he's found a home here with the Suns. But Jordan Ott has said that he's not going to keep anything set in stone with his rotation. So Goodwin is playing to stay in that rotation. He's been an absolute dog, hustling everywhere. Devin Booker praised playing alongside him. Both him and Gillespie have been huge, and the runway is clear for them to keep playing with Grayson Allen out. Now, I was saying I was leaning towards him against Houston on Monday because of his recent success and the role, but I'm glad I steered away from that because it was a dud because Houston blew him out, and Houston is really difficult to get any sort of stat against. But prior to that, I mean, he had gone over this number in 5 of 6. He had averaged 18 PR in that span, and he went 15-10 when he finally got in the starting lineup against the Spurs, which is another tough matchup, but not quite as tough as Houston. The top 3 lineups for the Suns now all have Jordan Goodwin in them in terms of net rating. Defensive rating is insanely good in some of these Goodwin lineups. So I would expect him to be out there for his defense after DeRozan had a big game. I mean, the Kings kind of surprised lately, so you're gonna need those wing defenders. But on the other side, the Kings have the 3rd worst defensive rating and rebound rate in November. They're also allowing the 3rd most fantasy points per game to shooting guards on the season. Still going to be missing Sabonis. Still going to be missing an interior presence to help them board up. So yeah, I mean, Goodwin should have a good stat line here. And I definitely lean towards the Suns at -4.5. If you need a money line partner, that's probably one of the safer ones here on a night that has a lot of short spreads and some injury news to monitor. The biggest one, of course, being Giannis. Will Giannis play in Miami, and how will that impact that matchup? But that is all the time we have for you here today on Wednesday ahead of Thanksgiving. Everybody enjoy the holiday. Like and subscribe to the page, and we'll see you again on Friday. Happy betting.